Hello and welcome. We have NWA champion Ric Flair going up against Jumbo Tsuruta in March of 1987. This is the same year that Ricky Steamboat would have his tremendous match with Savage, as well as Hogan and Andre, WrestleMania 3 in the Silverdome. But this match is for the tape traders. This is for those who appreciate and love pure wrestling. Although, look, honestly, Savage and Steamboat are a tremendous duo. But Steamboat would go on to have a trilogy of matches with Flair that arguably eclipse that WrestleMania match. Now, was it on as big a stage? Perhaps not, but anytime you share the stage with Flair, well, that becomes the biggest stage of them all. I think we can all agree on that. Ric Flair, one of my absolute favorite wrestlers of all time, alongside Bret the Hitman Hart, Randy Savage, and as a guilty pleasure, I must admit, as a child, I was a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. But Jumbo Tsuruta, he is a Japanese wrestler that I've been learning more and more about through watching his matches, and someone that I really enjoy watching. I saw him compete against Misawa. You know, Misawa is terrific, and I would have loved to have seen Flair and Misawa hook up, but Jumbo, he was a legend in the 80s, and as a traveling NWA champion, it was Flair's duties to take the belt to Japan and face the best they had to offer. And throughout the 80s, when he would go to Japan, Jumbo Tsuruta was that man. He is working the arm of Flair. We know Flair will likely be trying to go after the legs of Jumbo Tsuruta, so he can apply that figure 4 leg lock as a big shoulder block by Jumbo Tsuruta, and he's running the ropes. Go and gets a hip toss after reversing Ric Flair's own hip toss. We know that back can be a bit tricky for Ric Flair, as he broke it in an airplane accident early on in his career. And still, the way he falls is kind of affected by that back injury. But all said, he ended up having some of the most longevity of any wrestler there was, you know, still on WWE television into his 50s, wrestling, which was absolutely insane. But in his prime, there really, truly was no one like Flair, the Nature Boy. A one of one. No one did it like Flair, as he has the blue trunks on, Jumbo the black. For those unfamiliar with both of these wrestlers, perhaps seeing them for the first time. But I do find it insanely impressive that Flair, he would travel from territory to territory, including Japan, defending that NWA champion, making him a true world heavyweight champion. And Andre, he had a lot of matches in Japan. Hogan, some as well. But Flair was putting it on the line year after year after year, until WCW kind of changed up their style and became really their own entity and not working with other territories in the late 90s. Now they hook up once again. Jumbo going for a body slam, a big body slam. That kind of sent Flair reeling as he's holding that lower back. You can see Flair is in tremendous shape. Jumbo, he is much bigger. And look at those chops. Patented Flair chops, but Japanese wrestlers are no foreigner to the chop, although they might be foreign to the style of Flair. And he is only firing up Jumbo, and Flair backs off, realizing this might not be a good idea. I might be waking the beast that is Jumbo. A big knee to the midsection. Flair can get it done by hook or by crook. In a big lariat by Jumbo Tsuruta. He's going to go for a pin attempt here. And not enough to put Flair away as he powders to the outside. Jumbo gives quick chase. This might be where the events turn course, as Flair able to kind of get the upper hand and slam Jumbo into the barricade outside. You might not see any insane death-defying flying off the top rope from these two competitors. I mean, they do have a few top rope maneuvers, but it's not going to be a high-flying affair. But as technicians are concerned, and I can speak confidently about Flair, though from what I've heard about Jumbo, these are two of the absolute best, as a sunset flip by Jumbo into the pinfall, and he was able to clap the ears with the legs, was Flair to break out of that attempt. And now both competitors taking a deep breath. Flair a bit reticent to interlock fingers with the bigger and more powerful Tsuruta. They hook up. He's able to get Tsuruta into a headlock, sent off into the ropes. Big shoulder block by Flair. And Jumbo is able to trip up Flair in the middle of the ring with a leg lock applied. And this is something out of Flair's book. So you think he would be the one to try to chop down the big redwood that is Jumbo Tsuruta at the knees, the ankles, and then finish it off with a figure four leg lock. But Jumbo the one going after the legs first in this encounter, and they have faced off numerous times. Like, ooh, is this a sharpshooter or a scorpion deathlock trying to be applied here by Jumbo? Move that was popularized by Riki Chosu and then would become world renowned by Bret the Hitman Hart. Nice snapmare there by Flair. Oh, and a big shot to the gut of Flair, and he is going to be sent off. I guess I spoke too soon about the top rope maneuvers. Flair thought it was time to try to pull it out, and it backfired like a faulty grenade. Now the boots being applied to the chest and face of Flair. And I think this is just trying to wear down Flair more than anything, and a sleeper hold is applied. And if Flair isn't careful, if he's not able to get to the rope, if he's not able to fight off the maneuver in time. Oh, wait, look at this. Leg breaker by Flair, and he's going for the figure four leg lock, and he's got it in. Jumbo is very much near dead center in the ring. Now he can roll to reverse the pressure of the hold or drag the weight of himself and Flair to the ropes. Both are difficult kind of choices for Jumbo. Neither are going to be easy, but he's going to need to do one of the two. Either that or try to brute force his way out of this maneuver, but definitely not. That might be the hardest of the options that Jumbo is being faced with right now. You can see Flair trying to torque the right ankle of Tsuruta. He's trying to turn it over, is Jumbo, and having the weight advantage might... Yes, he was able to fully reverse it. Now the full force being felt by Flair. Now he is probably actually dead center in the ring. Nowhere near any of the ropes. I mean, he can try to stretch out for the ones in front of him, but those are still about a full yard away. Flair able to spin through, and then Jumbo able to spin through, but Flair luckily by the ropes. But he is in so much pain, he might not even see that the ropes are within arm's reach for him. Perhaps Flair wants to Yep, he gets right into the ropes there. But Jumbo not letting go until just now. Now both of the legs of both competitors have to be feeling worse for wear. I speak from experience. I have been in a figure four leg lock, not by Flair or Jumbo Tsuruta, but I have felt it both applied and the reversed feeling as Flair spins out of the ring after being Irish whipped into the corner. But the figure four is not a maneuver you would want applied even by an amateur, let alone a professional. Big knee by Jumbo Tsuruta as he came off the ropes and now into the pin. And Flair, ever the savvy vet, able to get a foot on the ropes to break that pinfall attempt. Big knee by Tsuruta again, and he's going to try to capitalize with a pinfall. 1, 2, and now Flair has to kick out. No other option. The ropes were not near. Ooh, and a big headbutt by Flair, and I think that might have been a low blow, but the ref was not in position to see it, and a chop by Flair, the patented Flair chops, and a stiff right hand for Jumbo's troubles. Now he's dragging Jumbo to the corner, the turnbuckle, and has his head driven forcefully in. Now Flair has a pin. 1, 2, and Jumbo able to bridge out. Look at the absolute strength and power, and completely reverses it into a pinfall attempt of his own. A backslide, and Flair able to break out at the nick of time. Now Flair begging off. He realizes he is in trouble, and he wants nothing of this big 6'2" Japanese warrior. And now Tsuruta laying in the chops of his own. Big snapmare, and he's going to follow it up with a big sleeper hold. Flair is in a bad spot now. Nowhere near the ropes. Gonna have to try to fight this off one way or another. Perhaps try to make it to his feet and gain leverage. Squirm, try to turn into Tsuruta. Maybe counter into a back body drop. I'm not quite sure what his plan will be, but if anyone knows Ric Flair, it is that he always has a plan, and the ref he's just checking to make sure that the air supply isn't cut off. A blood choke legal, a air choke illegal. But Flair was able to make it up to his feet. Maybe if he spins his body. And that is a great counter to the sleeper hold. He ran into the turnbuckles and ducked, so that it was Tsuruta's head that caught the worst end of that exchange. And now laying the boots to Tsuruta. Tsuruta's on the ropes. Ref, I believe it's Animal Higachi, is trying to break it up now. And look, these Japanese fans wooing. He has world-renowned appeal, is Ric Flair, going for a big suplex. An impressive feat of strength here by Flair, and lets the blood rush to the head of Tsuruta, and then slams him down from the suplex position, and now into a pinfall attempt. Tsuruta able to kick out at 2. Now Tsuruta probably wondering, how did I get myself in this position? And look, an abdominal stretch applied by Flair. I wonder if he's going to try to claw at the oblique of Jumbo here. Now he's trying to rock, get an additional kind of stretch from that. Now Jumbo able to reverse it. And that's the type of stuff that you only really learn in dojos like the one that NJPW or AJPW has to offer. And Flair able to hip toss out of it. Tries a pin, only gets a 1 count. Now he's chopping Tsuruta. Another snapmare there. Now Flair gonna go for that knee. Oh, Oh, and he misses. And that could be a big mistake. Now Jumbo going for the figure four leg lock himself. And how poetic would it be to have the Nature Boy forced to submit to his own finishing maneuver. And he has to be careful, because if Flair's shoulders stay down for a 3 count, that could be it as well. He doesn't even have to lose via submission. This is technically a pinfall attempt. So if Flair loses the will to have his shoulders off the mat, he will lose his NWA title like that. And he's able to reach for the ropes, is Flair. Now I think Tsuruta is going to be slow to take. He gets... Oh, Flair begging off now. After having that figure four leg lock applied, he can't even really make it to his feet, and he is in between a rock and a hard place. Tsuruta going after that knee. And look at here. Flair trying to avoid and eats it onto the mat. And now Tsuruta going for a sharpshooter or a scorpion deathlock, whatever you want to call it. This is pain for Flair, as his legs have seen better days. Flair saying, no, I don't quit yet. He's going to try to make it to the ropes. And he's trying to crawl under the ropes. And here's the thing, yeah, I mean, you have to torque your back even worse to be able to reach up towards the sky enough to actually get to the ropes. So that was the most effective way to not injure himself more and also get the rope break. I can understand. And now Tsuruta trying to suplex Flair back into the ring, and he does so successfully. Is he going to try one more submission or no? He's going into the pin. 1, 2. Flair able to kick out. Flair is a lot of things, resilient being one of them. Now Flair has a headlock. He's sent off into the ropes. Nice shoulder block tackle there by Flair. And he's able to roll through into the pin. Flair able to kick out. Tsuruta chopping Flair in the corner here. Number of chops. Flair reverses the Irish whip, sends Tsuruta off. Tsuruta hits the ref. What does Flair have in mind now? This is his time to completely shift the tides of this matchup. He's going for a suplex. Tsuruta able to reverse it into a nice back body drop. And if he goes for a pin, there will be no ref to make the count. He's going for another back body drop. Clinical as ever. Tsuruta has the pin applied. 1, 2. Had him for perhaps a 3 count if the ref were in the ring. Tsuruta saying, I had this match won. And now Flair able to get a pin himself, but the ref not in the ring to make the count. Both men have valid arguments that they should have won this match. Tsuruta able to roll up Flair. Wait, I think this ref is calling the match off. I think he's saying, hey, look, Jumbo, you hit me. And now he sends the ref off again. He shoves him into the ropes. Flair takes advantage of this, and the match is over. DQ for Jumbo as he was being scorned by the ref for hitting him, and then shoves and gets properly DQ'd. Jumbo very well could have won this match had he not gotten himself DQ'd. I can see the frustration he would have. He should be the champion. I get all that, but there is something to be said about maintaining one's composure. And Flair is going to retain the NWA World title by disqualification victory. He's probably a bit relieved that he didn't have to put it all on the line there. But thank you all for joining me. I will catch you all on the Flippity Floop. Bye, y'all.